Black Dog After Dark is recorded in a video store by people who have been drinking. We swear a lot, and there's spoilers. It's not safe for work, unless you work in a video store and have also been drinking.
Is it safe to say that nowadays you're leery of Leary?
I am leery of
I like
Leary.
that. I've always liked Dennis Leary.
I'm weary of Leary, and I'm really leery of Kevin O'Leary.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
It was Christmas Eve in Connecticut. I was minding my own business, breaking into this rich guy's house when the cops came. I took those two people hostage in that house that I hate. And guess what? Their relatives showed up.
The TV's broke. What are we gonna do all night?
Celebrate the birth of Christ.
I hate this guy, his wife, these kids, and this lady.
I think this is sick.
And candles, and kids, and booze, and fruitcake, and Santa Claus, and
Sex and drugs and women being set on fire.
it was such a nightmare that now I hate Christmas.
It's Christmas time.
It is. Oh, that's right.
It's our Christmas podcast.
This is our Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hanukkah.
Crazy Kwanzaa, all whatever you want to.
All that shit.
The phrase I love was used by a wrestling promotion that came here years ago. They did a Christmas show, and it was actually called Seasons Beatings.
Oh, I like
just
that.
loved.
Wow.
This is Black Dog After Dark. Yeah, the three of us are here celebrating Christmas. We're wearing our Christmas best. I'm draped entirely in holly and mistletoe.
It's a little,
Alex,
it's
of course,
little
is our
itchy.
resident Santa Claus. You're wearing your best Santa Claus Speedo.
Yeah, no shirt, just a big beard.
And Darren,
I'm dressed like a giant elf.
you are, well, you're always kind of a giant elf, aren't you?
No, sort of.
He's sad
Beardy elf.
And
I'm
Dylan?
Old, sad elf.
beardy elf.
You, Dylan, are Santa's little helper, therefore you're going to hand me another beer, right?
Anywho,
Let's talk about the movie that we watched.
So the movie is 1994's The Ref.
The Ref.
Directed by Ted Demme.
The other Demme.
I don't know if he's
The
related.
late Ted
He's his brother.
No, he's not.
He's
his
not?
nephew.
I thought they were brothers.
Does anybody know any other movies that Ted Demme has directed?
Yes.
Blow? Did he do Blow?
He did Blow. He did Beautiful Girls.
Beautiful Girls. I remember
I
really
like both
liking
those
Beautiful
movies.
Girls.
This is our Christmas pick. I picked it because it is hands down my favorite Christmas movie. And no one ever talks about it. I went online trying to find anyone, any podcast, anybody even.
I don't know why, because it's such a fun, nice, hilarious little movie. Now,
upbeat.
Should we talk about our first experiences?
So,
and then go from there?
yeah, okay. So, 1993, I graduate from high school. I get in my friend Tina's van with all my friends, and we're smoking a joint, driving around Surrey.
As
and
one
this
does.
song comes on the radio called "Asshole," and I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And they go, "This is Dennis Leary."
Okay, I remember that
And
song,
I was
yeah.
immediately a fan. I went out and I bought his album "No Cure for Cancer," and I won't get into how I feel about Dennis Leary now.
Is it safe to say that nowadays you're leery of Leary?
I am leery of
I like
Leary.
that. I've always liked Dennis
weary of
Leary.
Leary.
I'm weary of Leary, and I'm really leery of Kevin O'Leary. I honestly thought it was one of the funniest movies I'd ever seen. I loved it. As the years have gone on, I'm surprised how few people are ever talking about it at Christmas time.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking at the rental history. It didn't even rent last Christmas.
Alex, do you have any recollections of the first time you saw The Ref?
Yeah. I was alone.
Aww.
I was in my room.
Aww.
I'd smoke a big fatty and just kind of stretched out and watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great memory.
That's
Yeah,
it. I
that's
stretched
amazing.
out and watched it, and that was pretty much it.
I saw it on video when it came out in probably about 94, 95, I guess, when it ever came out on video, on VHS tapes. And I thought it was really funny. I thought it was... I didn't think it was as funny as it was trying to be when I saw it. I thought Kevin Spacey was... I didn't really like him. I don't know. There's something about his smarminess that rubbed me the wrong way. But I've always liked Judy Davis. Mm-hmm. For me, she's the best thing in this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've always loved Judy Davis, and she's just great in everything she's in. And Dennis Leary, that's the first time I ever saw or heard of Dennis Leary, and I thought he was amazing as well. And watching it again, I forgot his name was Gus, which I know.
Right.
I know a guy named Gus.
The first time I ever heard of Dennis Leary was late night on CBC Radio. I was driving along in my parents' car back in Nova Scotia. This is when it was a brand new movie.
Yeah.
And on CBC, whatever show was, Brave New Waves, where we played pieces of his No Cure for Cancer album at the time.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever heard of him, period.
Right.
And I remember just laughing my butt off of where it's like...
I never heard it, but...
He's joking about having like one of those voice boxes.
Tracheotomy.
He's trying to order takeout at a drive-through window, and the guy's like, "Stop making fun of me." He's like, "I'm not making fun of you, you asshole." Like they're arguing, the two.
Call the manager. Okay, fine, I'll call the manager.
Something like that, yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That might actually be the first comedy album I ever bought, was No Cure for Cancer.
Yeah.
I was devastated years later when I came to the conclusion that many comedians did, that he lifted all the good stuff from the late great Bill Hicks.
Oh, really?
Bill Hicks said that publicly.
My favorite story is that the press asked Bill Hicks about Dennis Leary having stolen his act, and Bill Hicks said, no, that's not true. I actually stole Dennis Leary's act, but I didn't want to get caught, so what I did was I added a bunch of punchlines and relevance, and then to make sure that nobody could catch me, I did it first.
That's pretty amazing.
So this was supposed to be the Dennis Leary movie, and I go and see it, and this is... We're going to talk about Kevin Spacey, and if you have a problem with that, turn off the podcast now.
Well, if you have a problem with that, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast anyways.
Yeah, or watching movies. I'm going to continue enjoying the movies that Kevin Spacey made.
Yep. It's the same with all those fucking guys.
Alfred Hitchcock was a sexist piece of shit. I'm not supposed to enjoy Vertigo.
I'm a huge Polanski fan. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan.
I also love Polanski.
Yeah, and those guys are not good guys.
Yeah.
So
there's your disclaimer right there.
Yeah.
This was the movie that really. Now, first of all, you were saying Judy Davis is the highlight of this movie.
For me, she was, because I've always liked her on screen. There's just something about her. She's smart. She's funny. She's beautiful. She has a whole thing going on.
For me, actually, I was like, I love this Kevin Spacey guy. Dennis Leary, he's the star.
Yeah.
But he's also the one who seems to be trying a little too hard.
I agree. Because there's a lot of scenes when he seems like he's out of sorts, doesn't really know what to do.
Or he's doing his shtick, his stand-up shtick.
Well, when he's on screen with both of those actors, he sort of kind of disappears.
Yeah.
So, because I like him a lot, but he's not really an actor. Like, those two are actors.
Yeah.
And so, he kind of sort of fades into the background. He has a lot of great lines.
Yeah.
And he's very funny in it. As they all are, but for me, Kevin Spacey was the weak link in this thing. I don't. There's something about his delivery that I found in like almost all the movies I've watched of him. He's this sort of weird smarminess, but
weird kind of way of talking.
And to me, like sometimes it works. Like he was great in House of Cards.
Yeah,
I thought he was great in that, and a number of other things. And
K-Pax.
I never saw K-Pax.
No, K-Pax is awful.
And I never saw Pay Forward.
It's awful.
I don't want to see that. But in The Usual Suspects, where he was great. But in this, I thought I don't know if he's a good comedic actor or not. I don't know. Like Judy Davis carried it, and Dennis Leary was good. He was a little bit, he was good, but
no, I thought he was hilarious. Oh God! Oh yeah, an Outbreak. Actually, yeah, because '94 was like the year that Kevin Spacey sort of emerged. Like he was in like 4 movies or something.
Well, it was like Usual Suspects and 7.
He won the Oscar for Usual Suspects.
He did.
Did he? I thought he got it for American Beauty.
He did later. He got Best Actor for American Beauty years later.
Yeah.
But in '95 or '96, he won for Usual Suspects.
So he has Best Supporting and Best Lead?
Yes, he does.
Well, not anymore. They probably... You think the Academy Award cops kicked in his door?
Jeez, if they're to do that, they're going to kick in everybody's fucking door in Hollywood. All those disgusting
probably.
Men.
Yeah, only Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks will be left.
And I'm just waiting for that Tom Hanks story to come out.
Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson was a slap in the face.
Oh, I know.
It's just like, really?
Come on, Neil deGrasse Tyson, really? No, I think Tom Hanks is immune. I think he's an actual good guy.
Yeah,
Can we talk about the movie?
Yeah, okay.
Not a lot happens in the movie. He's a thief.
Yes.
And so it opens.
Well, he's a burglar specifically.
Yeah, he's a burglar. He breaks into people's houses and steals shit.
Yeah.
So it starts with him breaking into like a mansion, this mega mansion, and
cracking a safe.
Yeah, cracking a safe, but it's booby trapped.
That's actually not how it starts.
It's not? I just watched this like 3 days ago.
I just watched it this afternoon.
Oh.
You hear this like I love it. It's great direction. You hear this Christmas music.
Oh, but it's weird Christmas music. I've heard it's weird like trance hall music or something.
It's got like an acid jazz kind of.
Is trance hall a
it's
type
got
of
some
music?
bass. I don't know if trance hall is a thing.
No, Christmas bassy.
It's very early 90s.
Yes, good as that.
It's Christmassy, and it goes through this like very white I guess like New England town.
Yeah, everyone's white,
and you see everyone like looking in the shops and buying Christmas stuff, and it's all one take.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pans up. It tilts up to a marriage counselor's office.
Before it does that, it lingers uncomfortably long on the Salvation Army dude who's just standing there ringing his Salvation. Like it stays on him. Maybe they're trying to get.
Well, isn't he the Santa Claus from who turns up later in the film?
I don't know, but I remember like the Salvation Army. You know, they're not. People think they do good work, but they don't.
For some reason, Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis are at their marriage counselor on Christmas Eve.
Of course they are.
At like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And
because that marriage counselor doesn't want to be home with his family. He'd rather be working.
And even if this was the only funny scene in the movie, it would still be funnier than most movies. That opening scene
was pretty darn funny.
Is fucking hilarious. Yeah. Where he's urging them both to just listen, and neither of them will.
No.
And then Judy Davis talks about this dream she's had that Kevin Spacey's. She goes to a restaurant and Kevin Spacey's head with his penis in his mouth.
No, isn't it like a salad with the penis sticking into his ear?
Yeah, into his ear.
Yeah.
And
his
she
penis is
says,
the garnish.
And it's penis. No. Well, she says, "This isn't what I ordered," and then the waiter says, "Don't worry, you don't have to eat the penis. It's only garnish." And then the psychiatrist says, "What do you think about that, Lloyd?" And he says, "I wish she'd stop telling it at dinner parties."
See, those are all good lines that get to the best line there. Yeah.
It is just joke after joke after joke. They start arguing, and then the psychiatrist or the therapist is like, "Would you guys please listen?" And then both of them together go, "Fuck you!"
Yeah,
and that's how the scene ends.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Dennis Leary.
Yeah, breaking into the house. That's booby trapped, which is pretty funny actually.
It's a good booby
because
trap.
he opens the safe. And all of a sudden, this mist shoots all over him. But for some reason, it's loaded with cat piss.
Cat piss right in his face.
So whoever rigged this thing has gone for the trouble of, I don't know, milking cats to get all the piss out of them, the spray, to shoot it out in the burglar's face, just in the off chance somebody robs his house.
And then all of a sudden, the whole fucking place lights up. Unnecessarily elaborate.
And then the trap door opens.
and then he lands on a pool table for some reason.
Which is so fun. The way he slides down and zooms and then poof, lands on the floor. I just howl.
It's like
at
a
that.
mattress.
Yeah.
It's not a pool table.
No. He lands on a pool table.
No, he didn't land on a pool table.
Well, he grabs a pool cue and a pool ball.
It wasn't even a mattress. It was like a hard piece of wood.
I'm telling you, it was a pool table.
Maybe, but I don't think it was. It wasn't a green pool table.
And there's this savage Rottweiler in the basement with them.
Right.
And he immediately grabs a pool cue, and then he's like, I can't hit a dog. So he grabs the.
Is that why he didn't hit the dog? I would have hit that dog. It's going to rip his nuts off.
Well, I think this is to establish you don't want your protagonist beating a dog to death in the first
scene.
First scene, right?
You're supposed to like him, I guess.
And maybe he thinks I can't quite do it, so then he grabs an 8-ball and goes, "Hey, dog, want to play fetch?" And then but then he does throw the fucking 8-ball right at the dog, and the dog grabs it in his mouth and then fucking shoots it.
Just crushes it.
Yeah, this movie's hilarious.
Yeah, and then of course it bites him in the ass when he's trying to escape.
Then he gets away. Did you pick up on the joke later about that dog?
Yes.
The name of the dog?
Yeah, I can't remember what
which is my favorite joke in the movie. Later on, when he's got Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis captive, she's like, "What's wrong with your leg?" He's like, "Oh, so and so's dog bit me." And she goes, "Cannibal bit you?" And he just goes, "The dog's name is Cannibal."
Yeah, that was good.
Anyways, so he has to get away. Take it away. I can't do all the talking.
Well, yeah, we're all doing all the talking. So yeah, he gets away, and then but there's because of all the sirens that the cops are on to him, and so like he ends up in a convenience store where Lloyd and Judy Davis, I can't remember her name in the movie, Catherine.
I can't remember.
Susie,
Cynthia,
Griselda,
Cannibal.
Anyways, she goes in to get some, I don't know, whatever. They're on. It's Christmas Eve, and they're fighting in the car, and he hijacks them.
But before we learn that she has cheated on him.
Yes,
but that came up at the
that came up at the therapist session. Yeah, whatever. So Kevin Spacey does not want a divorce. Judy Davis does want a divorce.
Yeah,
And so Judy Davis goes in and is then taken hostage by Dennis Leary.
Right. And then it cuts to their kid in he's in college or something like that.
He's in military school and he's blackmailing the headmaster,
J.K. Simmons,
played by J.K. Simmons in a very tiny role.
Yeah,
he's blackmailing his.
Did you catch his name?
No, what was his name?
Sorry, I was rushing to the washroom, but Siskel. His name is Siskel, and he's bald.
Oh, you think that's a thing?
No, it's absolutely like a fuck you.
It's not a. Why would it be a fuck you? Maybe it's an homage.
No,
maybe they actually like Gene Siskel.
Well, because this is not an enviable character in the film.
But he's also not bad character. He's not a good character.
Maybe it's an homage.
Yeah, he's getting blackmailed because there's a picture of him with some naked women in bondage outfit or something like that.
Yeah, he's a married man, family man, and the headmaster of the school, Kevin Spacey's son in the movie, Jesse, his name is blackmailing him with incriminating photos of him with another woman.
Well, two women.
Siskel and Ebert acknowledges, if you include a link where you can watch the review where Gene Siskel is... Actually, Gene Siskel has a really good sense of humor of the whole thing. He's
a funny guy.
He's like, did you catch the bald guy's name in this movie? Siskel. He's not a bad guy.
No, that's the thing, because if they slapped him with some ham or something like that, then there was the character's not really a big deal.
Nobody in this movie is nice except
Dennis Leary. Oh, Murray. Oh, poor Murray.
I love Murray so fucking much.
I don't know what it was with the 80s and 90s comedy movies that the trope of bondage gear in sexual situations was always played for laughs.
It was played for laughs and is a big source of shame.
But why?
Another movie that did that, there's a completely forgettable, except for me remembering it, is called Moving Violations.
That sounds
It's
vaguely
a bad
familiar.
comedy with like James Keach from the mid-'80s. I think Rick Moranis is in it, and it's about Spacey's brother. About people, traffic violators go back, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But there's also a bondage scene in that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Even like, was it I think Foul Play, there's, with Dudley Moore, there might have been like some sort of weird bondage stuff in that when he goes with takes Goldie Hawn to the apartment.
Or 10? Maybe even 10 might have had a...
They're always just played for laughs, and it's like I just never really understood that.
Yeah, or that, what was that one, Lost in Eden or something with Rosie
At Last Exit to Eden.
Last Exit to Eden.
Rosie O'Donnell. Whoever saw
Actually, which even I haven't seen.
No, it's apparently awful, but it was based on a cult novel and it was originally intended for other comedians and stuff.
Right.
Whoever, but it ended up being a Dan Aykroyd
well, that's not...
Rosie O'Donnell movie, and apparently it's horrible.
Go figure.
I know.
Rosie O'Donnell.
I don't have a problem with Rosie O'Donnell, but I do have a problem with Dan Aykroyd.
I don't like either of those people.
So they're driving along, and Kevin Spacey deliberately drives through a stop sign. And that's
did he deliberately drive through it, or just did he not notice it?
No,
and everyone's freaking out.
No, he saw the sign.
Did he? And he
saw the sign.
I think he's just freaked out, though, by the presence of a gun.
No, but this is what I love is
I think that in the combination of his wife, he's just not happy in his relationship. He just didn't give a fuck.
This is my favorite recurring joke in this movie is that despite all of this shit, these two just cannot not argue. Well, I've been in relationships like that.
It's so funny because every time they start talking, they go into an argument. Yeah. And like Dennis Leary, who's supposed to be the guy in control because he's the guy with the gun and kidnapping them. He's just like resigned. He's just like exasperated as they're just like constantly arguing.
I kidnapped my fucking parents is the line. So now we cut to the impending family. So there's going to be a dinner at Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis's house.
Right.
So now we see the rest of the family.
Oh, which are the typical fucking awful loser Christmas family.
They're eating dinner at a restaurant
because they don't want to eat her.
They don't want to eat her crazy eclectic whatever food. But is Christine Baranski at her funniest?
Is that who that is? Okay.
You know Christine.
I know that actor, but I don't. It's funny because when the scene starts from the back of her head is everyone's eating, and I knew exactly who that was.
Yep.
Just from the back of her head.
It's what's her name from that Sybil Shepherd show?
Called Sybil.
Sybil. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The Ab Fab ripoff. It was a total Ab Fab ripoff.
I think Sybil was pre-Ab Fab, though, wasn't it?
No, it was not.
I'd say it was probably post-Ab Fab.
As a matter of fact.
Around the same time, at least.
No, it came out after. It definitely ripped
it off. You guys should arm wrestle for the...
So much so that there was almost an American Ab Fab before Sybil, and it was going to star Roseanne Barr and Carrie Fisher.
Really?
As the two women, yes.
Both
because if you remember, the characters appeared. It's Patsy and I'm sorry, who's
Adina.
They appear on an episode of Roseanne, one of the latter day episodes.
Stop remaking. It never works out.
It does sometimes.
The Office doesn't count.
All in the Family.
Okay, we're about to go down a rabbit hole.
Star Trek.
I'm going to have to edit.
All the Family.
Never mind.
Anyways.
Okay, so...
Back to the point, yeah.
Christine Baranski is just fucking hilarious. She's like, shut up.
She's so mean.
Today is Christmas. Do not make me crazy today.
Today's Christmas. Shut up. And her doltish, cross-eyed husband.
Her moron husband.
Yeah.
And the only,
and the
actually, you know
kids.
what? The only characters in this movie who are actually like decent human beings are the two kids.
The kids, yeah.
Especially the boy. In like 2 hours, they're going to be at the house where Kevin Spacey is with
Judy Davis and Dennis Leary. They're all there. And the kid is eventually going to be there
Glynis
too.
Johns is, for my money, the funniest person in this movie is Glynis Johns.
Okay.
She plays the mother. Do you know who she is? Either of you?
I've seen her before.
Are you being served?
No. And I didn't know this until I looked it up. She's the mom from Mary Poppins.
Okay.
Really? Nothing?
Well,
I saw Mary Poppins when I was 5 years old, and
No, I'm just saying, what a perfect bit of casting.
Right, because she's so awful.
Talk about playing against type.
Yeah.
You know?
I would have cast,
Anne
Faye
Ramsey.
Dunaway as Joan Crawford as mother.
Or Anne Ramsey would have been good in that role as well. And get hit in the head with a basketball.
Oh,
Watch her head
Anne
explode.
Ramsey would have been the obvious choice.
Yeah.
But Glynis
Shirley
Johns,
Jones.
Yeah, she would have been a good call as well. Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore,
Betty
than
White.
fucking whatever.
Yeah.
All right, you know what?
Anyways, it doesn't matter. No, but she's great. We're just throwing out other names.
I was so excited about this big reveal that Glynis Johns was the mother in Mary Poppins,
and you were met by silence.
I'm a little.
I would have been more impressed by Julie Andrews.
As Alex just sort of staring at each other.
Well, obviously Julie Andrews would have been like a phenomenal casting pick, but they couldn't afford Julie.
Ernest Borgnine in a wig would have been awesome.
They spent all their money on J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, he demanded high dollars back then.
In a wig.
Okay, whatever. Well, just
the plan is like I don't know what Dennis Leary's plan really is. Because the cops have sort of cordoned off the whole area trying to get this burglar who's been burglarizing all the houses. Put that away.
You're like a fucking cat.
Who's been burglarizing all the houses? I'll have another one too. Thank you.
Don't burn the mic.
I'm gonna murder you in your.
So Dennis Leary's plan is hole up in a house, and he's got to track down Murray, who was his getaway driver.
Murray's as pathetic.
And Murray's just this fucking loser.
But when he calls he asks like Kevin Spacey, what's the nearest shitty dive bar?
Okay, I specifically wrote this scene down. So he's got Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis tied up in the kitchen, and he goes, "What's the nearest shitty dive bar?" And they both have a different answer.
Yes, of course they do.
And they both answer differently. And then they turn to each other and go,
start arguing.
"How do you know?" They go, "How do you know?"
Exactly. And they start arguing about it.
No, but it immediately made me think, and this is like the 30th time I've seen this movie, and I never noticed this detail. Obviously, they've both been sneaking off to these shitty dive bars to get drunk to get away from each other.
Yeah.
And he
it's like driving home.
And there's one called the 17th hole, and Kevin Spacey has it's like a urinal with windows. This is a great line.
It is a great line.
Fucking line.
There's all these great little lines, and then one of my favorite lines is coming up when Dennis Leary calls the bar looking for Murray.
Yep. He goes, "I'm looking for a short, loser."
A short drunken loser.
You just described everybody in the bar, buddy.
Yeah. A short drunken loser that answers the name of Murray.
Is there a Murray? No. And then it comes to the bar, and the bartender goes, "Is there a Murray here?" And, like, no one answers.
Not even Murray.
And he goes, "Try a waste of fucking life called Murray." So good.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah, we could just fucking.
And then when Dennis Leary's getting so frustrated, he's on the phone. He starts smacking the pots, hanging pots with the phone, and they're flying. Like those little things that I watched it by myself late at night, and I was like laughing out loud, as the kids like to say. It was it was pretty good.
Oh no! And again, this is a laugh out loud comedy set at Christmas.
And they even throw. I remember that they even throw a Republican joke in one of the kids. It's like so on the nose and so obvious, and it's almost like everyone looks at the camera and winks.
The jokes about.
So then we should probably talk about the cops a bit.
The really dumb cops.
I always love a dumb cop.
Yeah, well, cops in comedies are always dumb. There might be one sort of good, smart sergeant guy, but all the cops are dumb. And actually, there is one smart sergeant guy.
The chief of police.
Yeah, and he's a smart guy, and he's just always exasperated by the incompetent boobs that surround him, which always make for good hijinks and jokes.
And he's like the chief of police in this town full of rich assholes.
Which must be pretty easy to be the chief of police.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just all rich white people.
The F-bomb.
It's easy until a crime actually happens.
Which is probably a rare occurrence in a town like that.
Anyways, the chief of police is the one fucking smart guy in the town. And suffice it to say, for the sake of expedience, we won't get into like how the cops fuck everything up, but they do basically fuck everything up. Evidence is brought to them, and they tape over the evidence with It's a Wonderful Life by accident.
They tape over the surveillance footage, which the sheriff isn't even supposed to have a copy of. There's a big fight going on between the local police and the state police. Certain individuals in the town with political power over the head of the sheriff are ordering the sheriff to do things their way.
I have a question. So he refers to the dog as a faggot dog.
Well, two dogs being faggots.
Do the dogs see themselves? Is that a problem for the dogs?
Well, no, they're full of they're proud dogs.
The only species on the planet that has a problem with that are humans.
I think dolphins are homophobic.
Are they?
Yeah.
Have you translated like?
And platypus, if you can believe that, are the most homophobic of them all.
Really big, but the thing is, they're all animals. So like they're all animals put together into one animal. So how could they be?
Well, basically any creature that was on Noah's Ark came off that ark homophobic.
because by accident,
it's just what happened.
There were two male giraffes.
It's because the rain washed away the gay.
I could have a whole podcast on how stupid Noah's Ark story is.
Oh, we could. As a matter of fact, we should do how stupid the movie Noah is.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Have you ever seen the silent film era Noah's Ark?
What, were the extras actually drowned?
Yeah, extras drowned while making it, and they left it in the film.
Oh, jeez.
And they also left in shots of people panicking. Yeah, they show like survivors too who were freaked out.
I remember it was in the 80s. I went and saw, which I thought was going to be an awesome action adventure epic called In Search of Noah's Ark. And it turned out this fucking the dullest documentary that I've ever. I think
you know what? I think I've seen.
I think it might have been the only movie I left.
I remember the name of it, and when I was a little kid, I went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark under full impression that it was looking for Noah's Ark.
Well, it should have been,
and I still loved it. Don't get me wrong; it was the masterpiece.
I was so disappointed when it wasn't Noah's Ark.
I was not disappointed, but as a little kid, even when at the beginning when they're saying Ark of the Covenant, for whatever reason,
you just heard the word
knowledge of I heard Ark, and I was
because it's full of animals. It'd be cool. Why wouldn't that be cool?
But I just thought they were going to look for an old frame of a big ship that had secrets on it. But
so every time you watch it, every time you watch it, you still think that's going to happen.
That would have been great. Anyways, back to the ref. While you were having a slash, Darren.
I took a little bathroom break.
The cop thing is problematic in this movie because it doesn't really
portray cops as in a real life.
No, it doesn't really. They are supposed to be the chief antagonists, and they don't. I mean, the cops come into the kitchen at one point, but other than that,
they never create any tension or anything.
Because at one point, you're starting to think, oh, this chief of police is going to be a regular character, a supporting character.
I like that character as well.
And after he says that he fucked the other guy's wife. That's it.
Oh, right, yeah, that was the end of the movie for him because he got fired because of that. That actor was the sleazy guy in Boogie Nights. Who?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
He was also a really great special guest star in an episode of WKRP in Cincinnati. He sold uppers.
Oh, right, that's right. He's always played a creep.
Speed disguised as energy.
Hold on, who are you talking about? The cop or the rich guy?
The rich guy.
The rich guy blackmailing the cop.
Whoa.
Played the sleazy guy and doesn't care.
And in Boogie Nights.
For the sake of this podcast, we don't really have to address the cops anymore because this is pretty much where it ends.
They're dumb cops, yeah.
They're dumb cops.
And so
I made a note. The only note I made was I would have loved to have seen a scene where the chief of police, like at the end when Gus is escaping, it would have been nice if the chief of police catches him or something and then just lets him go because he hates all the rich assholes in this town or whatever.
Actually, I think that would have been good. But although at the same time, because he was the only serious cop, he wouldn't let him go because duty would have bound him to arresting them.
Or what you do is you do it like Jason Robards in the only movie that Bill Murray ever directed,
Quick Change.
Quick Change, where Jason Robards pretty much has the guy, and then on a tiny technicality doesn't realize he's the guy, and then walks away, and then when the plane's taking off, he's like, "Oh my God, that was Bill Murray."
But that film always leaves me feeling uneasy at the end. Quick Change, because to me, Robards will call that plane and say, "Turn around and bring him back."
Oh well, or just arrest him when he gets to wherever.
You're
he's
a big
going.
fan of that film, I know. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I love Quick Change.
I only seen it one time. I thought it was great too.
Brilliant.
Every time I watch The Ref, I'm always a little annoyed that the two plots don't really come together.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie. To me, this is like a stage play. Like this could have been like a total stage play.
Wouldn't it be great as like a theatrical?
It would have been amazing because there's a lot of things you don't need. Like you don't need the things of the shots of the streets and the police cars driving around. But everything takes place in like in a couple rooms.
An adaptation to like the Black Dog After Hours. Dylan's a burglar who comes in and it's Amanda and I fight. And Dylan's like the ref. He's like a burglar who comes in and holds
Where do I fit in all
Shut the
that?
fuck up. Well, you're the drunk
Well, you
Santa.
come over for dinner at one point.
Oh, the drunk
You and
gross
Tammy
Santa.
come over for dinner.
No, you're the
Gus
faggot
makes
dog.
a smart ass. Gus makes a smart ass comment
Cannibal.
about conservatives. You and Tammy come over to check in on to bring some surprise food to Alex and Amanda. And you walk in and we have to pretend that Dylan.
How long have you been thinking about this?
Like
So this isn't years in the making.
about 30 seconds in the making. My elevator.
So I used to work at the Arts Club Theater as an usher. And so, as such, I had to sit through Arts Club Theater Christmas productions, one of which was called It's Snowing on Salt Spring, which is the most unbearable fucking nightmare horrific.
I'm sure it's all jokes about Salt Spring Island, living on the island,
it's written by
hippies
Nicola
and shit.
fucking Cavendish and blah, blah, blah.
I don't know who it is, but
The other thing I had to watch all the time was this production of Beauty and the Beast, which they're doing again. It's like...
timeless.
I get it, Arts Club. Vancouver's not a huge city, but this is like the 6th year in a row that you're doing Beauty and the Beast. Ka-ching, ka-ching, whatever.
Because people are going to keep going and seeing it. That's why they're going to the ka-ching noise you're making.
But I don't blame them. I mean,
No,
paying for the rest of the year.
I don't blame them either, but like...
Well, it sounds like you are.
Okay, no, I actually blame Vancouver for sucking.
I blame you.
Because, like...
First of all, Beauty and the Beast was Linda Hamilton's greatest moment, so that TV show totally deserves
More than
its
Terminator?
own stage version, all right? Ron Perlman's finest work was as that Lion Man.
More than Terminator?
And you're just jealous because you didn't get the role of the Lion Man.
Well,
and remember how weird that show got when the Lion Man knocked up Linda Hamilton?
I was
Never
on
And then
saw
they
it.
killed them both off, and they had an
Never
action
saw it.
adventure series.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about anymore.
We're
Should
doing
I light up in here in the store?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't
Yeah, I
care.
wouldn't set off an alarm or anything.
Well, there's no apartments above us. So.
So I was working at the Arts Club Theater as an usher, and one year they had A Christmas Story, the musical, and I had to sit through this awful stage version of a movie that I've always hated.
I love the movie, and
I like
I'm
the movie
sure
a lot,
the
too.
stage version was great.
The only good thing in that movie is Darren
Cynical
McGavin.
bastard.
Yeah, he's great.
But that narration is the worst. It is.
It's a wonderful movie.
I hate that fucking movie.
The narration is so sweet. It's the author that wrote it is doing the narration.
I don't care.
But the leg lamp.
Okay, the leg lamp is hilarious.
Fragile must be Italian.
Yeah, okay, and it's Darren McGavin.
It's a piece. Yeah. Darren McGavin's always great.
There's maybe
he is easily the best thing.
There's like 5 minutes of stuff I like. Oh, I also like
Melinda Dillon's
Drink
great
Your
as well.
Ovaltine makes me laugh.
Peter Billingsley, a.k.a. Messy Marvin.
Who?
Messy Marvin. He was the Hershey's syrup kid. Remember Messy Marvin?
No!
Always made a mess.
Oh my
but
God.
if you used Hershey's syrup to make hot, it was impossible to make a mess with Hershey's syrup.
How do you
Not
remember
even
this
Messy Marvin.
shit, dude?
Because it's like Mikey. He likes it. The life
Well,
cereal
that I
kid.
remember.
That one everyone
Peter
remembers.
Billingsley was Messy Marvin originally. By the way, he's a big time behind the scenes
give me a
producer
token of that.
now, and he's good friends with Vince Vaughn.
Who,
And I
Peter-
want to
Peter-
say,
Peter Billingsley?
Peter Billingsley, if you're somehow here on this podcast, never mind my colleague Dylan here. Christmas Story is the fucking classic.
It is a
Second
classic.
only to
Black
Christmas.
Directed by the same gentleman.
Yes, as
Anyways,
he knows.
so
Well, I haven't even said my opinion.
Well,
we're not there yet.
And I was thinking, a Christmas movie I'd love to see on the stage? The Ref.
Yeah. I'd love to see the Ref.
It all takes place in one house. I'm actually kind of amazed that it's never been done.
I'm sure
Because I've seen worse ideas turn into plays.
Well,
they made High Fidelity into a musical.
Well, Breakfast Club made sense because it was all in one detention hall.
You could do that, yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the dialogue, and things. It's the same with this movie. It's all about the dialogue and the characters. The setting is secondary. It's because it's in a house.
Okay, so where were we? So
we have the shitty family come to the house.
They're on their way
because he's at this point Gus, aka Dennis Leary's tied up everybody a few times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tying up people.
Yeah.
The kid has come home.
Yep. And he's tied up too.
He's tied up in the bedroom because
we don't need the scene with the whole gun.
And taking the extra drive around.
When I was watching the movie, I was like, why? Because the plan was to have dinner with the shitty family with Dennis Leary, but the kid is upstairs. I think, why is the kid tied up and not? But then thinking, well, they're using him as leverage because if things go south, Dennis Leary, who's not going to, but says he's going to, is going to off the kid. And so, but no, of course not. But this is a comedy. Nobody gets killed. Nobody gets shot. Yeah. Children don't get shot in this comedy, this particular comedy. But so the crappy family comes over, and they're introduced to Dennis Leary in a really awkward. He's on the stairs, and they're introduced to him as Dr. Wong.
Yes, because they're family therapist is Dr. Wong, and you see him in the first scene.
Yeah. And the old lady, your favorite actor in the movie,
Glynis Johns,
says to him like, Dr. Wong, is that where are your parents? And he says, my mother was Irish, and she says, and your father? He wasn't.
He wasn't.
Which I thought was a brilliant line. It's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
So basically, the clitoris of this film, if you will,
where pleasure center,
where all of the energy is when they're having dinner and then they move into the living room.
I love dinner scenes in movies when there's a dynamic going on, especially when things get tense.
Yeah.
Funny and tense are great in dinner scenes because nobody knows how to react to either of those.
I find tense really only funny in like slasher movies when you know they're out camping and one of them's about to.
But I mean like deliberately
intense.
Funny.
Oh, you said tense.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, like, when did you become king of the puns?
Oh my god! Oh, this is not the worst. Oh, that's far from the worst.
When I get home tonight, I'm going to look up in the government handbook to see if I can fire somebody for too many puns.
That's a very dad thing to say.
I'm a dad, but I'm not Alex's dad.
Well, I know you're both lame. The dinner scene. Judy Davis. So okay, so on top of everything that's already happened tonight, Judy Davis has had this insane, eclectic, cultural dinner plan.
Question: when did she have time at all to make any of this food? Not like all of it, but any of it. She was in therapy on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
like
I suspect slow cooking.
Well, no, she prepared.
Ask Josie's on the show. Ask Josie. She is the queen of. Our colleague Josie is the queen of the slow cooker. Ask her, man.
What do you mean? What do you mean suspect? Like it's not like slow cooking has done a crime. I suspect slow cooking is responsible for this movie.
I think the idea was she prepared everything in advance.
Exactly.
Then they went to the shrink. Then they went, and then they got kidnapped and came back.
I don't know.
They microwave.
Darren,
there's a lot of fucking food.
Darren, think about it, man. Like, how long was... I used to be in therapy at most an hour. So, 2 hours tops. You get in the car... You're making the loot fish. You get in the car. You say that your fucking husband's dick is in his ear and it's only a garnish. You get kidnapped. You're back home. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
And dinner's ready. And everyone's wearing candle hats.
Yes.
Which I love.
But knowing Judy Davis's character, her character is absolutely in keeping with having nothing to do all day. So she would have had that fucking the plates put out 3 days early. They
would have had dust all over them then.
Well, she just went over and dusted them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess it's implied.
It doesn't matter because the dinner with the candles on the crown of candles that everyone has to wear.
Yeah, which is awesome. Everyone's head's getting hot.
That really got on my nerves.
Really? Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it only got funnier the more intense their conversation got because I had totally forgotten that they had candles on their heads.
They're yelling at each other with candle hats.
The funniest scene in the original Office, Ricky Gervais version TV series, is when he gets laid off, and he just happens to be wearing a giant furry bird costume at the time. Have you seen?
Yeah, I have. It's been a long time.
There's nothing funnier than people being very, very serious in ludicrous costumes. And so this movie is like they're all starting to get more angry, but they all have these idiotic candles on their hands.
And going with the my previous statement of loving dinner party scenes that are funny and serious and intense, this one just ramps up and
a classic example. A classic example of a film being undermined by ridiculous costumes. Zardoz. It's so serious in its.
No, but it's a terrible movie. The whole thing is terrible.
But the costumes really nuke it.
But I think
you'd laugh less if they were if the costume design.
But who wants that?
I'm not saying you want to, but I just mean it's less successful at what it's trying to do. It's more successful as camp.
I would love to do Zardoz
for
this podcast.
We should totally do Zardoz.
I had a customer at the Canby store way back in the day, who in his apartment he's living in wrote the entire screenplay of Zardoz on his walls.
Wow.
Yeah. The walls in his living room.
You see this?
That's like the very beginning of In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, Zardoz. Wonderful film, and that's another podcast. And there's a photo of it stuck to the wall here at Black Dog, which is actually quite the conversation piece.
The costumes were not what was ludicrous about Zardoz. It's
everything else.
Well,
it's
no,
like there's actually everything.
It's Sean Connery's mustache.
That's a terrible mustache.
Way more distracting than his furry codpiece.
And
also knowing that a film takes 3 months to film.
Yeah.
Knowing that Sean Connery had to show up on set every day and put on that furry codpiece is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Last minute. He was a last minute replacement too.
Who was it supposed to be?
Was it?
Originally, Burt
Lancaster. Oh,
Burt Reynolds, because he had just done Deliverance.
Either one would have worked.
And Burt Reynolds, I always heard left due to
you're right.
Quote unquote, he left due to quote unquote creative differences.
Yeah,
but I think he just looked at that costume
because he knew his shit.
Oh my god!
He looked at that
Burt
costume
Reynolds
and said, "No way."
Oh my god, Burt Reynolds is American Sean Connery.
I'm not joking.
I know the James Bond thing.
He was offered.
Right.
Burt Reynolds fascinates me. He always has.
Well, you have that poster on your wall of him and the snake, right?
Yeah, which you gave to me as this.
It was your birthday present.
Yeah, right. You were like, Alex, you got to check this out. This changed my life. It'll change yours. Yeah.
And that wasn't a snake, Darren.
Yeah.
Was that? That wasn't a snake.
No, it's Billy Idol's forearm.
That was Bert's. That was Bert's.
Billy Idol.
But seriously, Burt Reynolds, I'm a big fan, but I agree. Listen, he's a great actor, but here's the problem.
He's not a great actor.
Please,
because he's
look,
dead.
Anyways, what's the problem?
He's dead now. Well, just let me finish my thought, please. This is it. I might just do a solo podcast about my theory on Burt Reynolds' career.
Not on my phone.
But here's the thing. Burt Reynolds, though, was a great actor, but here was his problem. And I would have said this to the man alive.
All of his power was in his mustache.
I don't even know how I got on a Burt Reynolds.
Anyways, I feel bad having to edit this podcast because there's just so much garbage talk. I have an idea. Why don't we continue this particular conversation after the podcast and finish the podcast of the movie?
I don't even want to talk about the ref anymore. I want to talk about this stuff because I didn't find the ref particularly. First of all, I didn't even. You guys are going. Oh, it's so brilliant! It's so brilliant. You know what?
Well, listen.
I shrugged my way through this film, and I was like, "Hey, okay, fine. This is." Finally, I'm seeing this cynical comedy I've heard about for 15 years as a holiday classic. Well, guess what? It left me completely cold. Completely. And me watching it alone in my room, stoned on the bed, that was last Thursday.
Stoned on the bed.
My first time watching this film was just last Thursday. And really, it just left me... I mean, hey, look, I would never shit on this film.
I didn't know where
if you're looking for a cynical...
No, I love the way this...
If you're looking for a cynical...
I'm not editing any of this. This is all... The listener's just going to have to
fucking fight through it.
You know what? I'm almost all talked out here.
Swamp
I'm sorry, but here's what the ref did for me. I came here tonight and just thought about all this other stuff. And it wasn't like an anti-ref mood, but... The ref, first of all, I know it seems like a cop-out. I guess I say this almost on every podcast. If it makes the cut or not, I don't know. But I very rarely tell, I'll never tell someone not to rent something. And I don't mean that in a cynical, trying to make money kind of way.
But the thing is, if they ask you,
of course.
I'll always be honest. Like, if someone says, I want to watch this, and if they ask me if it's good, if I've seen it, I'll always give them an honest opinion.
Oh, I give an honest opinion too, but I never really go for the jugular with a film. And like, here's the thing: I can see enormous appeal in this super cynical comedy set at Christmas. Everyone knows the season's overrated.
But I don't think it's super cynical.
Anyway, just let me finish.
All right.
I find, like, I could see why. I could see completely the appeal of this movie to so many people and stuff like that. And if you want to see a cynical Christmas comedy, and I always do give my opinion too. Yes. But that's the thing. But put it this way, there's been movies I've watched on this podcast that I actually hated. And I was, I think, pretty honest in my assessment of them and said, well, Strange Days, but at the same time, but I don't want to slam the talent involved.
Well, we shouldn't. We haven't actually aired Strange Days.
Well, it hasn't aired yet, but
that's our New Year's one.
But look, I'm just ranting a bit here. But the thing is,
Alex,
that
you've never held back on telling us when you hate a movie. You hated Dick Tracy.
Well, I think I don't think any of us have it, nor should we. The whole idea of this podcast is to tell people what we think about this.
No, of course, that's the thing. And
oh my God!
That being said, I know I'm jumping way ahead here. Like, around the holidays,
actually, I don't think you are fucking jumping way ahead.
This is turning into like a scene from The Ref, where all of a sudden,
oh my
God, you're right.
Like, I will recommend the hell out of this Christmas because it should be seen stuff. But here's the thing, you know what, I didn't laugh once, but here's the thing.
You didn't laugh once.
And
are you dead inside? Is your soul just frozen and buried in an ice pack underneath a woolly mammoth skeleton?
Here's the weird thing, though, about this film, I have a dark sense of humor. I've been in dark, cynical situations. Everyone has. No more than anyone else has. But, I know what it's like to fight with family at Christmas, stuff like that. But this movie, I didn't laugh once. And really, it just struck me as...
At least it was short.
At least the effect it had on me. Well, it wasn't like I even disliked it, but I found it completely aggravating to watch. I know it sounds cheap. No, but it's just,
you have no soul or no heart.
No, wait.
Let me finish. But I took it more like just a straight up, like, I know it's attempted to be funny, but I didn't find it funny at all. I found it very serious and gloomy and cynical. And I'm not putting down the movie or anything like that.
No.
At the same time, those aren't put downs, but I don't know.
No, they're
accolades. Well, I don't even know if it's that.
Totally gloomy, raves Alex Chisholm.
The one thing I definitely like, put it this way, because I hadn't really, I'm aware of this film, I knew who was in it and stuff, but I hadn't thought
I'm aware of this film, raves Alex Chisholm.
I thought about it a while, but when I sat down to watch it, I was like really, really pumped over the fact that Judy Davis is, because she's so brilliant, and especially in Naked Lunch. She's great
in everything.
She's in everything. It's My Brilliant Career, which is her first major big film or whatever. But no, she's brilliant. I mean, I know Naked Lunch is kind of a small role, but she's riveting even in smaller parts. But this film for me, for me it was really super aggravating and unpleasant.
Okay, so can I just?
But maybe that was the intention.
Comedy is no. No, that wasn't the intention.
Because we have right here Mr. Demme. And
I imagine the idea behind making a comedy, making a holiday seasonal comedy, is making it as unpleasant and unwatchable for the viewer as possible.
I didn't laugh once though, but I could see people finding
that's because you have no sense of humor. You're like a cipher, like a walking.
Darren,
zombie.
Darren. Zombies always walk. Comedy is obviously subjective. And anyways, a movie that people watch that I just have never seen any humor in, ever. In fact, it makes me feel gross, and I hate that the world loves it, is Anchorman.
It's okay.
I've never...
It's okay. It's
one
of those...
Not a single second of that movie made me laugh, and it made me feel icky. No, hold on.
It's one of those okay movies.
It's not even okay in my opinion. I think it's utter shit. I don't understand why people are just like having awe and reverence. So that's what Alex is saying.
Well, I don't think people have reverence for Anchorman.
Oh, that's not true.
Really?
That's not true.
Really?
Put it this way. I
don't know any of these people.
I avoided
I don't want to know any of these people.
I avoided it like the plague when it first came out, Anchorman.
Right.
But then I kept hearing recommendations for it, so I rented it out, and I was shocked how much I enjoyed it, Anchorman.
What?
Yeah, how much I enjoyed it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, and a lot of it was because, by the way, and I have nothing but respect for that director because he's refined his style.
Is that Adam McKay? Is that
correct.
Right.
And he wanted to make, I really like his film, The Big Short, was excellent.
Brilliant film.
Oh,
he's refined his style, but here's the thing: the Anchorman. Just let me finish, please. Anchorman, I enjoyed on a level where, because the film didn't fully work, I think the way there was a lot of awkwardness in the direction. Some of it intentional, some of it unintentional. I think because it was just him starting up, but I still found it hilarious. I have a soft spot.
Are we doing Anchorman today? Or are we doing
No.
Ref?
But we're talking about the subjectivity of comedy.
Right.
So I was saying,
I liked it.
Now, Darren, you and I get the ref.
Yes.
And that's not to say that Alex is dumb or anything. It's just that kind of humor just jibes with us.
No, I
laugh. Every time I see this movie, I laugh at every joke.
What do you mean?
Hold on.
Hey, look, doesn't mean I don't like a whole style here. I just don't think it's a very good example of style. And not even that. The way I received it as the viewer.
This is exactly why I didn't want you to say anything.
The way I received it as the viewer was as very aggravating.
But that's what's great about comedy is my actual point.
Everybody gets something out of different things.
It's subjective, and so you're either on board with the tone of the comedy or you're not.
And no, that's not true.
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
It is true.
No, it's not because I tone in. I know what I saw, and I tune in to. I'm very responsive to that tone. And sometimes I laugh too, sometimes I don't. I'm just saying I didn't laugh at this movie.
I like the tone of this movie because it had a good rhythm to it. It had the good actors, and like not everything worked. The first time that I watched it, I thought it was trying too hard to be funny, and it wasn't that funny. But when I watched it last week, it was way better than when the first time I watched it.
I just don't think it's a comedy. I think it's closer to a drama.
What?
Well, it's like Breakfast Club.
Well, it actually
it's a comedy and a drama because it has both elements. And the best comedies have elements of drama in them, and the best dramas have elements of comedy in them.
And I'll tell you one thing about Breakfast Club. It is one of the whiniest, most overrated.
Well, we're not going down that breakfast wormhole tonight.
It is whiny and overrated.
I agree.
But you just had to say it again, didn't you?
I just had
I just had to fucking say it again. As I said, we're not talking about that. You had to say it again. I was
just telling you, my friend over at the fucking Charlatan called it a masterpiece, and I almost laughed in it. No, I did laugh in his face. I'm like,
it's a good film of its time. I loved it when it came out. Okay. I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
Oh, this is.
But let's talk about this fucking
digressions.
Let's just wrap this fucking thing up. So it doesn't really matter what happens. Everyone has a good time. Gus gets away on a boat with his stupid friend Murray. That was one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Even before his exposure in recent scandals, shall we say, and his Kevin Spacey. Even before his recent kind of downfall. Here's the sense: in any movie I ever saw him in, despite the performance he was trying to give, he always genuinely gave me the creeps. And I don't pry into, unless it's really splashed on the front pages. I try not to pry into actors' lives or whatever. And it's like I just suspected. I didn't know anything about him right until these recent scandals broke. But I was just like, Kevin Spacey, whatever. Maybe he may be in his private life. I didn't know anything about these criminal accusations, but I just meant as a person, I don't know what he's like, but he's obviously great at playing a creep. Maybe he's really like that at the core. So
he wasn't creepy in
he was very creepy in this movie. In this film,
no, he wasn't creepy in the
fact that they're set back up together at the end just crushed me.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, it crushed me because
it's a comedy. It's a comedy, dude. You know that's going to happen.
Who says it's a comedy?
It's a fucking comedy.
Like everybody.
It was mislabeled. It's
like,
a really
like for you.
And also, here's spoiler alert here. They
Oh,
let Gus
Jesus
get
Christ,
away.
Alex.
Of course,
Get away.
of
Like,
course.
Of
course they're going to let Gus get away.
It's just really a super grim movie. Across the board.
No, but how would you have it? What broken up and gotten divorced? That would have been a happy ending.
Yeah, they set each other free.
She should have murdered him and
sickness,
then turned Gus and maybe murdered him and then murdered her child. Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
I did. Well, that's your take on it. I personally
actually I would have enjoyed that as well.
Maybe you would have found that hilarious. They should have set each other free, and Gus should have been caught.
Well, Alex, to be fair,
this isn't real life.
Hold on, Alex.
It's a
Alex,
stupid comedy
I found
movie.
it a completely grim film.
To be fair, we don't know what becomes of them. They help Gus get away, and they pretend to tie each other up, and then they argue to distract the cops, right?
Also, here's the thing. I always have the tendency to, when I watch a film, whether I like it or not, I'll start thinking about these people, like what's going to happen to them afterwards, And if there were a ref part 2, like that bungling idiot would have been caught. Their story wouldn't have stood up to scrutiny.
The ref of con?
They would have gotten back together and been miserable and then arrested as accomplices.
Jesus Christ, Alex.
This guy, their story's total horseshit.
Holy shit.
They're saying, oh yeah, we don't know where he went and stuff. The whole family's upstairs as if they're not going to rat.
They're all tied up still.
Judy Davis and Kevin Spacey.
When the cops come in, and it says, is there anybody else in the house? They go,
and
no. Yeah, but everyone's tied up in the back room.
They're tied up upstairs. They're all going to blab.
Christ, Alex, it's not Chinatown. It's the ref.
It's the ref. It's the ref, Alex. It's the ref.
Chinatown is funnier than the ref.
That's not true at all.
Slipper socks.
I'm sorry, I'm just a viewer.
Alex.
But now that it's been pretty much confirmed that these performances Kevin Spacey has pretty much given 99.9% times of his career isn't even acting. It's the real deal. He's a fucking creepy dude.
He wasn't creepy in this movie.
He was very creepy in this movie.
No, he wasn't.
He
wasn't creepy at all.
She was trapped in this
you know why? Because Kevin Spacey's creepy. All his roles are creepy. They're supposed to be creepy. His role was not supposed to be creepy.
Even more the fact that I see him post,
You know what?
Revelations. Anyway, he's creepy.
Revelations. He's in Revelations.
The movie struck me as a complete downer.
I don't think Spacey's character in this movie was creepy.
Jesus.
No, I didn't think so either.
No.
He's totally steps away from Slaughter and the Family going into disguise.
What are you talking about? You fucking lunatic!
L.A.
Which movie did you watch?
Well, Law and Order did an episode about family annihilators, and Kevin Spacey's.
It's not a documentary. You know that, right?
Oh, I know, but still, it's another TV show. But
Anyways, let's wrap this thing up.
It was misery. She's trapped in this horrible relationship.
You're fucking
misery. Well, he didn't knock anyone's feet off their legs.
And they're totally going to get ratted out for telling this lame story to the cops. They helped a dangerous criminal get away.
Yeah, he's not dangerous. How's he dangerous?
How old are you? Are you 96 years old, Alex?
He's running around waving a gun.
He was running around waving a gun. He threw a ball at a dog.
Actually, he holds a family at gunpoint.
Oh my God, Alex! Talk about taking a movie too seriously. You can't be serious.
No, I think that the material wasn't taken seriously enough because I'm into dark comedies. The King of Comedy is one of my all-time favorite films, but this film is. Yeah, he aimed for a comedy, but directed as a drama.
You didn't laugh at all during this movie?
Not once.
Final thoughts. We know what Alex's final thoughts are. Dylan, what do you think about this movie?
No, I hope they're not Alex's actual final thoughts.
It's very final thoughts.
Don't kill yourself because you saw the ref, Alex.
I would never do that.
It wasn't that bad to kill yourself because you watched this movie.
Actually, it's hold on because we go.
Are we going clockwise?
We go clockwise from whoever picked the movie. So Alex has done his thing. Okay,
I'm gonna say I had totally enjoyed it. I did not see all the cynicism and horror and drama and the crap that Alex saw. I thought it was smart. It was funny. Could have been funnier. I think it's still trying a little hard in spots, but. Yeah, has some great lines. I will recommend this as a good Christmas pick. Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. And like what Alex had to say, I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel like almost like pointless in saying what I think about this movie now. Like I don't all of the things that you just said. Dylan,
I'm going to stick up for Alex.
Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't need sticking up for it.
No, he needs sticking up for it.
I guess too.
No, I actually get what you're saying, Alex. There is about 4 minutes in this movie where it gets very serious.
4 minutes.
No. It's when Spacey grabs the
microphone.
and starts singing Beyond the Sea. Oh yeah. And by the way, was anyone surprised that Kevin Spacey is the worst person on the planet? Anyways.
No, he's not the worst person on the planet.
You know what he is,
Harvey
though?
Weinstein's
You know what he is?
still alive, but...
No, he's the worst person in the shower. And that was the part of the rep that bothered me the most, is that shot at the beginning into the bathroom. You see him in the shower, yeah.
Okay.
all the air just left my body.
What I love about the ref is, I think, what Alex hates about the ref, which is
the comedy.
It is a dark comedy, and the thing is, you never get Christmas movies like this.
No,
like there's only two Christmas movies that I really genuinely love. It's The Ref and Scrooged, and it's because both of them have a similarly dark kind of. That's fine.
And by the way,
let's finish the podcast so I can hit.
Well,
stop
I
on
still have my thoughts.
You've already done your thoughts. You did like 14 minutes.
I have to say one thing.
It was like a scene from Network.
Look.
You were just fucking unleashing.
Well, here's the thing, though.
I love Christmas.
No.
I'm not going to take it anymore.
I didn't say I hated anything about this film.
As a comedy, you didn't find it funny.
It wasn't funny, but I never used the word hate.
But when you say it was aggravating, it implies you did not like it, which implies you hated it.
No.
Aggravating. Well, who likes aggravation? You know what
aggravation can be a total intention of.
Did you get the ref or Who's Afraid of Virginia?
But
it's pairings is next, so we can finally end this
good.
godforsaken fucking.
It's a fun, cynical Christmas movie that appeals to people that like and dislike Christmas at the same time.
And it really doesn't have very much to say.
No, it doesn't.
But it is funny.
It does, and it's a good time. Yes, let's do pairings.
So it is. Monday.
Finally, Monday.
I know. That was like a 12-hour podcast.
It's a 4-day podcast.
And as Monday, it is 2 for 1 here at Black Dog Video, located at 1470 Commercial Drive.
And 3451 Cambie Street.
So, Alex, if you're standing here and it's close to Christmas and someone walks up and says, "Merry Christmas, brother. I'm going to rent the ref. And it's 2 for 1 Monday. Can you please recommend to me a movie as enjoyable and incredible and
funny
and just hilarious and fun as The Ref? What would you say to them?
I would say
Black Christmas.
Well, I wouldn't
Silent Partner.
I would say I wouldn't really say anything about The Ref except that I would recommend, here's a film that's a much better example of what The Ref dreams to be. What The Ref, with a better director and some work, could have been.
The Silent Partner?
No.
What?
Oh.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? The ultimate argument film.
Yeah, actually, that's a
work
really
of
good,
genius.
That's a really good. I think it's a work of genius, too. It's one of my favorite movies. It's so good.
This has about a third of that power.
Yeah.
Not even that much, but this, for me, was an unsuccessful comedy that would have worked way better as a drama.
Right.
But I'm not full. I can see its appeal, and don't get me wrong.
It wouldn't be as funny
love
as
a good Christmas farce, so I highly recommend this. I would still recommend this to anyone who wants an irreverent Christmas film. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Masterpiece. The Ref? Good movie.
Well, I'm going to stick just with a Christmas theme, and I enjoy comedies and horrors or something not comedy mixed together.
Uh-huh.
So I would recommend The Ref, and if you want another Christmas movie, which is interesting and weird and kind of horrific is I think it's from Norway called Rare Exports.
Oh.
Which is it's a really cool, weird that they find Santa Claus buried like deep in the ice, and they try and thaw him out, and then evil elves. It's great. It's a weird, cool, interesting film.
I want to play it at the Rio, maybe next year.
I'm a big fan of it, and even just talking about it right now makes me want to watch it again. 12.
Honorable mention goes to a movie called Home for the Holidays.
Really? With the Holly Hunter?
Holly Hunter and Robert Downey Jr. Have you seen it?
No.
Well, then what's your fucking problem? Jesus, Darren, you're always...
It looks like one of those schmaltzy Hollywood things that we don't like.
You haven't fucking seen it.
No, I have not. I have not seen it.
It's directed by Jodie Foster. It's really fucking good. And it covers kind of the same
territory
as this, but
dysfunctional family comedy drama.
But with a slighter hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for whatever, we should probably end this fucking thing. So Merry Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, movie house!
Season's beatings.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.
Pass by the 17th hole, it's like a urinal with windows.